Unlike your grandma's secret soup recipe, the recipes for Coca-Cola or KFC's chicken aren't just sitting in someone's diary waiting to be discovered. Some food companies have locked up their key recipes in heavy vaults, never to see the light of day. In today's video, we'll be talking about the 8 most heavily guarded recipes worth billions of dollars. Even Danny Ocean will have a hard time getting his hands on these recipes. So, let's begin. Recipe number 8. Bush's Baked Beans. All the burgers and hot dogs out there just can't beat a good plate of baked beans. This is where Bush's Baked Beans comes in as the go-to option when you need your bean cravings satisfied. That's certainly the Americans' go-to option since Bush's Baked Beans make up 80% of the country's baked beans supply. With such popularity, you can bet some questions have arisen about how these beans are cooked. However, that knowledge remains limited to members of the Bush family and a few company officials who got it from the original Bush brothers in the 1970s. The recipes? The result of a secret family recipe. Brown sugar, beans, and double pureed bacon are rumored to be the key ingredients, but the complicated mix of spices that goes with them remains a mystery. The recipe sits in the Bush Visitor Center in Chestnut Hill, Tennessee. You could try your hand at replicating the recipe, but you're better off buying from the local grocery store. Recipe number 7. Krispy Kreme. Krispy Kreme's been making everyone's favorite donuts since 1937. Vernon Rudolph, who founded the company, purchased the recipe from a French chef. The recipe, which has been the reason for the company's net worth of $2.4 billion, now sits in a safe in Winston-Salem. That's the town where Krispy Kreme first came into existence, so it makes sense the recipe sits there. The recipe to those out-of-world donuts remains a closely guarded secret since the dry mix is prepared in the main facility and then sent out to shops in other branches. Only a few employees are granted access to the site where the magic happens. The best of these employees later become the custodians of the donut's secrets. There's a list of rumored ingredients floating around that consists of fluffed eggs, mashed potatoes, skimmed milk, and of course, sugar. However, the rest of the ingredients in the baking process remains out of our knowledge. Recipe number 6. Dr. Pepper. A good number of you watching most definitely enjoy drinking the one-of-a-kind Dr. Pepper. You can thank Charles Alderton, who experimented with different fruit syrups and sparkling water before ending up with Dr. Pepper in 1885. The recipe has since then been passed from one company official to another. It's rumored that the recipe is, in fact, broken into 2 parts, which are then hidden away in bank vaults on American soil. The exact location of these recipes remains unknown. However, people do know that the addictive beverage consists of 23 components. Prune juice was thought to be one of these, but when one executive revealed that it isn't even on the list of ingredients, it became clear that the recipe is very much out of everyone's reach. Recipe number 5. Heinz Ketchup. There are many ketchup companies out there like French and Del Monte's, but Heinz seems to be the undefeated champion in the field. With $11.6 billion in revenue in 2021, the company's putting really good ketchup on everyone's tables. Henry J. Heinz, the man who first came with the recipe for it in 1867. He used only 5 ingredients: vinegar, tomato, salt, and herb extracts. Now we may know the main list of ingredients, but the exact proportions as well as what herbs are exactly used is information that remains unknown to us, which is why no one has been able to replicate the recipe. The list of people who do know the recipe is a short one as it consists of 10 people and the highest-ranking company officials. The recipe is so well guarded that the public doesn't even know where the written recipe is located. It could be sitting in a safe or on one of the executives' nightstands. Recipe number 4. Hershey's Chocolate. Most people out there prefer Hershey's for Valentine's Day, and for a good reason. Despite so many companies producing milk chocolate, they just don't compare to Hershey's. Now, many people have theorized over the years as to why this might be, with suspicion pointing towards a unique milk processing technique. But the real recipe remains a secret. The chocolate mixture is prepared in a chocolate laboratory, where only a few are given entry. The recipe is passed down only to the best-performing chocolate manufacturer. People expect that these guys must be paid really well because how else is the company able to buy their loyalty and, in turn, their silence, preventing them from leaking out the chocolate secrets? Recipe number 3. Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola's a gigantic, multi-millionaire company spread all across the globe. The list of people who haven't tried a Coke is arguably a small one. According to Forbes, the company has a market cap of $258.99 billion. It earned $33 billion in revenue in 2021 alone. Now, with such a good-selling product, you can't expect the company to list every single one of its ingredients on the product labels. Some of it remains hidden even from most of the company's employees. You can trace the origins of the recipe to pharmacist John Pemberton, who came up with the concoction in 1886, and later sold it to Asa Griggs Candler for $2,500. Since then, the recipe has been passed down from executive to executive with minor changes. At a time, the full content of the recipe is known only by 2 company executives. A high value is placed on the lives of these 2 consecutives, since they aren't allowed even to travel on the same plane in the event of a plane crash. Additionally, a written recipe is hidden away in a secure SunTrust bank vault in Atlanta. If you had any plans to steal the recipe, we'd suggest you either kiss them goodbye or get ready to pay a heavy price, as did a secretary in 2007 who had similar intentions. She was caught selling trade secrets to Pepsi for a profit of $1.5 million. When exposed, the company sued and she faced 8 years in prison. All in all, you're never going to find out just what's inside this fizzy drink. Recipe number 2. KFC. People from all over the world can thank Colonel Sanders for coming up with the recipe behind the most delicious chicken on Earth. He came up with the recipe in the 1940s, which has since then been passed among generations of company executives. Like Coca-Cola, the complete recipe is only known by 2 execs at a time. These 2 execs then choose the highest-ranking company officials at the time as their successors. The spices for the chicken are mixed in 2 separate locations. This way, the employees remain out of the loop, and if you really want to cook that mouth-watering chicken at home, you'll have to make your way into a facility with 2-foot concrete walls where the written recipe sits. We doubt it'll be easy considering the round-the-clock surveillance. What's more, you'll need to get your hands on the 2 unique pins, which are only known by the 2 execs and are required to unlock the 770-pound safe at the same time. Let's just say you've got your work cut out for you. However, it seemed like hardcore KFC chicken fans wouldn't have to do that, as a journalist from Chicago Turbine came forward in 2017 and claimed that he had discovered the well-guarded secret from a scrapbook belonging to an individual from the Sanders family. However, KFC denied all of it, and that was the end of it, much to everyone's disappointment. We do know that the chicken recipe consists of 11 herbs, but the exact details of the cooking process are yet to be revealed. You're better off just buying KFC than experimenting to replicate it in the kitchen. Recipe number 1. Twinkies. It's incredible just how addicting these yellow little sponge cakes can be. Twinkies were first made by a baker in a Continental bakery in Illinois in the 1930s. He first went for banana filling, but since there was a scarcity of the fruit during the time, he was forced to go for a creamy filling, which turned out great, to be honest. There are many recipes floating around online that promise to replicate the iconic snack, but unfortunately, all of them fail. The real recipe is guarded like a state secret and remains unknown to most of the employees except for a few company officials. Which of these recipes are you just itching to get your hands on? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section down below. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to our channel. Goodbye, Lux Cats. Until next time.